The family celebration took place in a rented event hall that smelled of floor polish and too much perfume. White tablecloths, bright candles, a dessert table that looked protected by invisible guards. Everything shimmered with forced elegance. Lauren stood near the back, keeping her daughter close without making it obvious. Her daughter Lily, 12 years old and tall for her age, wore a navy dress she had sewn herself. She worried the edge of her sleeve, quiet but alert. Lauren watched the room with the tense awareness of someone who knew trouble often arrived wearing a smile. Trouble arrived in heels. Lauren's sister, Sophie, glided over with her perfect hair, perfect smile, and husband Mark trailing behind her like a man who'd misplaced his conscience. Their children, Cole, Mia, and Isla followed, dressed in designer clothes from brands that hated children touching anything. Sophie's eyes brightened when she spotted a woman she wanted to impress, someone sleek and important looking. Without warning, she hooked a hand around Lily's shoulder like Lily was an accessory. "Come here," Sophie said in a bright voice. Lily stiffened. Lauren stepped closer, positioning herself behind her daughter like a quiet shield. Sophie tugged Lily toward the woman. "You have to meet my niece," she announced. The woman gave a polite smile, the kind people give when they sense danger in the shape of a family. And then Sophie delivered it. "This is my stinky niece," she said loudly, already laughing. Lily froze, trying to become smaller. Sophie wasn't done. "She makes her own little clothes," she added, wrinkling her nose. "Thinks she's creative. Honestly, with clothes like that and an attitude like hers, no future." Her voice dripped with false humor. Their parents laughed along as if cruelty were tradition. Lily's fingers tightened on her sleeve. Her shoulders curled in. Lauren felt something hot rise inside her, but she kept her face still. She leaned close to her daughter, placing a warm hand at her back. "You're fine," she whispered softly. The woman in the blazer didn't laugh at Sophie's joke. She only glanced around as if searching for the exit. A cousin stopped chewing. Someone held a sip of wine too long. The room didn't respond the way Sophie expected. The joke fell flat, heavy and awkward. Still, her children smirked, mimicking their mother's cruelty perfectly. Before Lauren could speak, another voice cut through the room. Her grandmother, Evelyn, rose from the head table, not shaky, not hesitant. She stood with a quiet authority that made conversations fade mid-sentence. Evelyn looked at Lily first, not at Sophie, not at Lauren's parents. "Lily," she said gently. Then her gaze swept the room. Everyone straightened. Everyone listened. Lauren felt Lily shift slightly toward her, confused but hopeful. Evelyn's expression was calm, almost amused, and Lauren realized with a jolt that her grandmother hadn't stood up to calm things down. She had stood up to end something. Evelyn looked directly at Sophie. "You really called her stinky in front of strangers?" she asked, voice level. Sophie forced a bright grin. "Oh, Grandma, it was just a joke." Evelyn tilted her head. "Then explain what's funny." Sophie's smile faltered. "Come on, it's not that serious." Evelyn ignored her and reached for Lily instead, gently taking her hand. "Come here, sweetheart." Lily glanced at Lauren for permission. Lauren nodded. As Lily stepped forward, Evelyn squeezed her hand lightly, grounding her. The room shifted, the way it does when the real center of power becomes visible. Lauren's father tried to save face with a forced laugh. "It's a family party. Let's not do this right now." Evelyn turned toward him slowly. "Then you shouldn't have laughed at a child being humiliated," she said. His laughter stopped instantly. Lauren's mother lifted her chin, offended. "We do not treat her badly," she insisted. Evelyn raised one hand. Small gesture, powerful silence. "Yes," she said firmly. "You do. I've watched it for years." Sophie crossed her arms. "Seriously? Over a little joke?" Evelyn's eyes locked onto hers. "This didn't start tonight. Tonight is simply the last time." Evelyn looked back at Lily with a soft smile. Then her voice carried through the hall. "Since you're all so concerned about her future, let me make something clear." Lauren felt her stomach tighten. Lily held her breath. "This girl you keep mocking," Evelyn said slowly, "is not who you think she is." Confused glances rippled across the room. Evelyn continued, "She is my great-granddaughter, yes. But more than that, she is the one I've chosen to carry on what I built." The room froze. Even the quiet hum of background music felt like it paused. Sophie's mouth fell open. "What? She's a kid. Evelyn nodded. Exactly. A hardworking kid. A respectful kid. A kid who learns. She looked at Sophie deliberately. Not one who pretends to own a company she's never worked in. Lauren's parents stiffened. Lauren felt tears sting her eyes, not from sadness, but from the shock of finally being defended. Evelyn turned back to the room. The business you all assume is yours by birthright? It isn't, she said. When I am gone, everything goes to Lily. Gasps scattered. A glass clinked. Someone exhaled too loudly. Lauren's father rose halfway from his seat. You can't be serious, he snapped. Evelyn didn't even flinch. It's already signed, she replied. The lawyer finalized it weeks ago. Sophie stepped forward, panic bright in her eyes. Fix it now, she demanded. Evelyn raised an eyebrow. Or what? Sophie's gaze flicked, just for a second, toward Lily. Lauren reacted instantly, pulling Lily behind her. The room saw it. Everyone saw it. Sophie's voice cracked. You're ruining my life. Evelyn answered calmly. No. I'm preventing you from ruining hers. And with that, the celebration split open into silence. Lauren's mother stood abruptly, clutching her purse as if dignity could be stored inside it. We should discuss this privately, she said sharply. Evelyn gave her a cool smile. Privately is how you avoid consequences, she replied. Mark tugged lightly at Sophie's arm, whispering, Let's just calm down. Sophie jerked away, furious. No. This is ridiculous. But the room was no longer on her side. People avoided eye contact. The woman in the blazer quietly stepped back. Lauren kept one hand on Lily's back, steady, protective. Lily whispered, Mom, did I cause this? Lauren shook her head. No. They did. Unable to regain control, Sophie exploded. You're choosing her over your own family, she yelled at Evelyn. Evelyn didn't raise her voice. I'm choosing the person who deserves the truth, she answered. Sophie's kids stared, confused by emotions they didn't recognize without instructions from their mother. Lauren's father stepped forward, face red. You're acting irrational, he said. Evelyn blinked slowly. I'm acting responsible. Then she looked at Lauren, her voice softening. Bring Lily tomorrow, she said. I have things to show her. Sophie's face twisted. You're rewarding her? For what? Being weird. Evelyn exhaled. For having a spine. That was the final blow. Lauren's parents grabbed their coats. Sophie turned toward the door, voice quivering with rage. This isn't over, she spat. Then she stormed out, Mark following with the expression of a man regretting every decision that led him here. Cole, Mia, and Isla stomped after them, muttering complaints like the world owed them applause. When the door shut, the room released a breath. Lauren crouched beside Lily. You're safe, she said softly. Lily nodded but looked overwhelmed. Evelyn stepped beside them and placed a gentle hand on Lauren's shoulder. This, she said, was overdue. The retaliation didn't take long. 2 days later, Lauren's phone buzzed nonstop. Relatives she hadn't spoken to in years suddenly remembered her number. One text read, Is Grandma okay? I heard you're controlling everything. Another said, Someone told me she signed papers she didn't understand. A voice note from an aunt whispered, We're just worried. You know how old she is. Lauren stared at the messages with a cold, sinking feeling. The lies were too similar. Too polished. Too coordinated. And then Sophie confirmed the source when she posted in the family group chat. Grandma is confused. Lauren is manipulating her. Lauren read it twice before laughing once. Sharp and humorless. Nothing says, this isn't about money, like bringing up legal documents. Lily walked into the kitchen, backpack on her shoulder. She paused. Mom? Are they talking about me again? Lauren turned her phone over. It's nothing you need to carry, she said. But Lily's eyes lowered. Is it because Grandma chose me? Lauren knelt in front of her. No. This is because adults hate consequences. Lily nodded slowly, but the guilt clung to her expression. Later, Lauren created a folder on her phone titled Receipts and began saving every message. That afternoon, Lauren drove to Evelyn's house. She didn't arrive angry, she arrived prepared. She sat at the dining table and opened the folder on her phone. Screenshots. Messages. Voice notes. Everything. Evelyn read each one without interruption. Her expression didn't change. No shock, no outrage, just a deep, steady disappointment. So that's the story she chose, Evelyn said finally. Lauren swallowed. They're telling people you're not you. Evelyn nodded once, slow and deliberate. Then we correct them. She picked up her phone and called her attorney. No secrecy. No hesitation. Send a letter, she said. Stop the lies immediately. When the call ended, Lauren asked the question that had kept her awake 2 nights in a row. Can they undo what you signed? Evelyn looked at her with calm certainty. No. Everything was filed correctly. They can throw tantrums, but they cannot undo facts. Relief washed over Lauren so quickly she had to close her eyes. That night her father called. She didn't answer. He left a voicemail full of anger disguised as authority. You're embarrassing this family. Fix this. Call me back. She saved it in the folder. Evidence, not emotion. She wasn't playing their game anymore. 2 days later, the doorbell camera pinged. Lauren checked her phone and froze. Her parents, Sophie, Mark, and the 3 kids, all standing on her porch like they were posing for a staged apology. Lauren opened the door but blocked the entrance. Her mother began instantly, "Sweetheart, we've been praying. We just want to talk." Sophie leaned forward with a sugary voice. "We love you. We love Lily. Let's fix this." Her father added, "Tell your grandmother to stop all this nonsense." There was the real reason they came. Not love. Lauren's face didn't move. "You're here because you want money," Lauren said quietly. Her mother gasped. "How dare you?" Sophie scoffed. "It was a joke, Lauren. A joke. You're acting like we hit her." Lauren's jaw tightened. "Humiliation is not a joke." Sophie waved her hand. "Stop exaggerating. Lily's sensitive." Behind Lauren, Lily's breath caught. Her mother hissed, "Not now, Sophie." Too late. Lauren stepped forward. "You talked about my child like she couldn't hear you. And now you want me to lie to Grandma so you can keep your benefits?" "No." Her father glared. "You're choosing this?" Lauren answered, "I'm choosing my daughter." Sophie's smile finally cracked. "You think you've won?" she snapped. "She stinks sometimes. Everyone knows it." Lily made a tiny sound like the wind had been punched out of her. Lauren's voice went cold. "Get off my porch." Sophie stepped back shocked. "You're insane." Lauren repeated, "Off." She closed the door as her father muttered through the wood, "This isn't over." Lauren locked the door, saved the doorbell footage into her folder and took a long breath. She knew her family. When one door closed, they always tried to pry open another. And they did just days later. Lauren returned home 3 days later to a silence that felt wrong. Not quiet wrong. Then she heard soft crying from the living room. She rushed in and found Lily at the table, shoulders shaking, cheeks wet. And sitting across from her, far too comfortably, was Sophie. Mark stood near the doorway looking like he wanted to disappear. Cole, Mia, and Isla hovered around Lily's sewing corner, touching things they shouldn't. Lauren froze. "What are you doing here?" she demanded. Sophie smiled sweetly. "We came to apologize to Lily. She let us in." Lily flinched, shaking her head. Lauren knelt beside her daughter. "Did you let them in?" she asked gently. Lily nodded, eyes full of panic. They said they were sorry." Sophie added quickly, "We are sorry." But Lily whispered, "Then they said Grandma made a mistake." Lauren's chest tightened. "What else did they say?" Lily swallowed hard. "They said Grandma didn't understand what she signed. They said, if I just told her they've been nice to me, she might change her mind." Sophie leaned forward, voice sugary. "We're trying to help her, Lauren. This is confusing for a child." Lily's voice cracked. "They said, if I don't fix it, I'll be the reason Mom's family is broken." The words landed like a knife. Lauren felt something inside her snap into sharp focus. She stood and turned toward the sewing corner. Cole had opened a small box. Mia held a scrap of fabric like trash. Isla was poking at the sewing machine. "Don't touch that," Lauren said, voice low. Cole shrugged. "It's old." Lily whispered, "It's not." Lauren stepped closer and saw it. Thread yanked out violently, a bent needle, the handwheel forced beyond its limit. Her stomach dropped. "It's a machine, Lauren." "Relax," Sophie said, rolling her eyes. Lily shook her head, trembling. "I told them to stop," she whispered. Then Mia muttered, she deserved it. Silence hit the room like a slap. Lauren turned slowly. What did you say? Mia looked down. Nothing. Sophie snapped. Oh, please don't be dramatic. Lauren's voice stayed steady, even as anger roared through her. Out, she said. Sophie blinked. Lauren, out. Now. Mark tugged her arm. Sophie, let's go. Sophie's face twisted into something ugly. You're turning her against us, she hissed. Lauren pointed at the door. Leave. When the door finally shut, Lily broke. Apologies poured out of her in shaking breaths. I'm sorry. I know. They said they were sorry. I thought. Lauren gently took her hands. Stop. Listen to me. You did nothing wrong. You trusted adults who should behave like adults. Lily cried harder. If I hadn't opened the door, if you hadn't opened it, Lauren said quietly, they would have found another way. This is not your fault. Then Lauren did what she'd learned to do. Document. Photos of the sewing machine. Close-ups. Bagels. Evidence. Later at a repair shop the technician frowned. Someone forced it, he said. She saved the receipt. That evening Lauren called Evelyn. She didn't rant. She didn't cry. She simply reported the facts. The house visit, the pressure on Lily, the sabotage of the sewing machine. Evelyn listened without a single interruption. When Lauren finished there was silence. Deep, thoughtful silence. Then Evelyn spoke, her voice low and controlled. Put your phone down, she said. I'll handle it. The next morning, Lauren received an email from Evelyn's attorney. Attached was a formal notice. No contact. All communication through legal counsel. Stop approaching the child. Stop appearing at the home. Clear lines. Real boundaries. Consequences with weight. But Sophie was a person who believed rules were only suggestions for other people. 2 days later, Evelyn called Lauren with an update. They came to the business, she said. Lauren closed her eyes. All of them. Your father. Mark. And Sophie, of course. Evelyn sighed, not angry, tired. They tried to walk past the front desk. They insisted I was being manipulated. They said they were worried about my state of mind. Lauren exhaled slowly. What did security do? Evelyn almost smiled. Denied access. Logged the incident. Notified my attorney. It wasn't loud justice, but it was justice. That evening, Lauren received another voicemail from Sophie. Her tone started sweet. Too sweet. Lauren, this is all going too far. Then her voice cracked into anger. You think you can take everything from us? Hide behind Lily? If you don't fix this, you're going to regret it. Lauren didn't react. She saved it into her growing folder of receipts and walked to Lily's room. Lily sat cross-legged on her bed, drawing dress patterns in a notebook. Lauren sat beside her. New rule, she said gently. We don't open the door for anyone. Not Sophie. Not Grandpa. No one. Lily nodded quickly. And if anyone tries to make you feel like fixing adult problems is your job, Lauren continued, you tell me immediately. Lily swallowed hard. Okay. For a moment, Lily leaned against her, letting herself rest. 6 months passed. Slowly, painfully, the smear campaign lost its power. Evelyn kept showing up steady and sharp. False rumors died when they couldn't find oxygen. And when the monthly stipends stopped, $12,000 a month gone overnight, Lauren heard the consequences through the grapevine. Not because she searched, but because people whispered. Sophie and her parents had to sell their big house. Downsizing wasn't enough. They sold everything. Lauren kept her distance. She didn't celebrate their struggle. She didn't gloat. She simply stayed focused on protecting Lily. Over time, Lily's confidence returned piece by piece. A new sewing machine hummed softly in her room, steady and sure. One evening, Lauren walked past her door and paused. Lily was leaning over fabric again, hands moving with calm skill, stitching with quiet determination. No shrinking. No hesitation. Just a girl doing what she loved without fear. Lauren felt her throat tighten. For the first time in a long time, Lily looked like she believed she belonged. Like she believed she mattered. As Lily settled back into her rhythm, Lauren found herself healing too. She no longer felt the urge to brace for impact every time her phone buzzed. The chaos was finally quiet. One afternoon, Evelyn invited Lauren and Lily to her office. Really invited them not out of crisis but out of pride. Evelyn pulled out a large box and placed it gently on the table. This, she said, is the first pattern set I ever designed for the company. Lily's eyes widened. You're giving it to me? Evelyn nodded. And one day you'll improve it. That's how legacy works. Lily traced the edges of the pattern with trembling fingers. Why me? She whispered. Evelyn leaned back thoughtful. Because you care enough to learn, she said. Because you listen. Because you work. This business wasn't built by people who wanted to look impressive. It was built by people who wanted to do the work. Lauren swallowed a lump in her throat. Lily blinked fast, her voice small. I won't let you down. Evelyn smiled softly. I know. It was the opposite of Sophie's world. No performance, no pretending, just truth, effort, and opportunity meeting in the same place. Weeks later, Lauren received one final message, an email from her father. It was short, almost clipped. We're struggling. If you have any kindness left, speak to your grandmother for us. Lauren read it twice. Then she deleted it. Not out of spite but clarity. They weren't asking for forgiveness. They were asking for access. She had spent too many years mistaking proximity for love. Lily walked into the room just then, holding a newly sewn sleeve. Mom, does this look right? She asked. Lauren studied it carefully. It looks strong, she said. Just like you. 1 year after the celebration, Evelyn organized a small open house event at the company. Employees mingled, music played softly, and samples of new designs lined the walls. Toward the end, Evelyn called Lily onto the small stage. This, Evelyn said, placing a hand lightly on Lily's shoulder, is the future of our company. Lily looked terrified for 1 second, then brave the next. Lauren watched from the crowd, hand over her heart. No one laughed this time. No one sneered. People clapped, genuine warm. Lily stood a little taller, her cheeks flushing with pride. Driving home that night, Lily stared out the window, the city lights reflecting in her eyes. Mom, she said quietly. Do you think Grandma went too far? Lauren reached over and squeezed her hand. I think she finally drew the line the rest of us were too scared to draw, she said. And I think she chose you because you earned it. Lily smiled, small but real. For the first time, she didn't shrink from her own worth. She leaned back in her seat, relaxed. The road ahead felt open, steady, and hers. And for the first time in years, Lauren believed the same.